As a kid, yeah. All a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from everybody. Life lesson learned, I better learn from this bitch, nobody. She pushed me around, she didn't give no motherfucks about it. She broke my heart 3 times, but I ain't getting...
The Dallas Cowboys are going to be on the road taking on the Arizona Cardinals. This game is going to be played Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. The Dallas Cowboys lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Hall of Fame last week, 3-16. One thing that I'm definitely looking forward to in this game from the Dallas perspective is going to be the cornerback battle. The cornerback battle is one of the more interesting position battles in all of the NFL because Dallas, outside of Trayvon Diggs, they have a really good cornerback 2 battle going on between 2 rookies. You got rookie cornerback Kelvin Joseph out of Kentucky and rookie cornerback Nashawn Wright out of Oregon State. Now, Nashawn Wright is somebody who basically came out of nowhere. Now, I understand that the Cowboys did use like a mid-round pick on him, so it's not like this guy was an undrafted free agent, so they drafted him for a reason, and he has performed pretty well. And when I was going over reports prior to the Hall of Fame game, when I was making my Steelers versus Dallas Cowboys Hall of Fame preview, I didn't really see anything about Nashawn Wright. As a matter of fact, the only guys I really saw in this cornerback 2 battle was Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, and Kelvin Joseph. Well, Nashawn Wright got a lot of playing time last week against Pittsburgh. He had one bad play when he got beat by Chase Claypool down the field, but outside of that, he was pretty good. So he has long arms, he has pretty good length. I'm really excited to see what he does in this game. Then on top of that, you got Kelvin Joseph. Now, we didn't really get to see a lot out of Kelvin Joseph, not because he wasn't starting. He did have like a significant amount of playing time last week, but I didn't really see a lot of plays out of him. Now, you can't blame that on the quarterback play. Maybe quarterback's not throwing it to his side that much, but hopefully he gets targeted a little bit more this week. I feel like he did a pretty decent job, even though he wasn't targeted all that much, but I would like to see him get tested a little bit more this game the way he did last week during the Hall of Fame game. So pretty much it looks like this cornerback 2 battle is coming down to 2 rookies, Kelvin Joseph and Nashawn Wright. Now, I'm not ruling out Jordan Lewis and Anthony Brown, but I've been seeing a lot of reports that have been gassing up both of these 2 rookie cornerbacks, and it sounds like whoever wins that cornerback 2 job is either going to be between Kelvin Joseph or Nashawn Wright as of right now. So I'm really interested in seeing how that battle heats up. You look at the backup quarterback position, Garrett Gilbert, Ben DiNucci, and Cooper Rush. I don't think any one of those guys played great, but I think they played okay. Garrett Gilbert, 19 of 13, 104 passing yards. Ben DiNucci was 7 of 17, 89 passing yards, 1 touchdown, but he did have 2 carries for 34 rushing yards, and Cooper Rush was 8 of 13 for 70 passing yards. None of those quarterbacks were able to get the Dallas Cowboys into the end zone, but I do think that the quarterback play should improve. I don't think the offensive line played all that great last week. Like, Pittsburgh was getting so much pressure on the quarterback that it was really hard to get some downfield completions due to not really having a lot of time in the pocket. So hopefully the offensive line play improves in this game compared to what it did last week, because Pittsburgh's defensive line was getting the best out of the offensive line for Dallas, and that should improve. Like I said, the Hall of Fame game is like the first preseason game that's played, so of course you're going to have teams that are going to be hella rusty. They're going to have hella room for improvement, so the offensive line should be better in this game. Now, we still don't really know who the backup quarterback is going to be right now. It still looks like Garrett Gilbert is the leader in the doghouse, but it's going to be interesting to see how these 3 quarterbacks perform. Then you got a wide receiver 4 position battle that's going on. I still think that Cedric Wilson is going to win that 4th wide receiver spot behind Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. Cedric Wilson, I think he had a pretty nice game. He had 2 catches for 29 receiving yards. Would have liked to see him get targeted a lot more, but you know, the offensive line didn't really give Garrett Gilbert that much time. So hopefully Cedric Wilson gets a little bit more opportunity to show what he can do, because I definitely believe that he can be that wide receiver 3 if Michael Gallup doesn't get retained by Dallas and ends up leaving in free agency. Then you got Malik Turner. Malik Turner led the team in receiving yards last week with 47. He also had 5 targets, 4 catches, and he came out of nowhere. I didn't even know who the hell this guy was, and he balled out. Like, this guy was making play after play. So I want to see if he's going to be able to keep it up, if he's going to have another solid performance in the second straight game. Got Aaron Turner, who had 2 catches for 39 receiving yards as well. So the wide receiver 4 battle right now, I'm still leaning Cedric Wilson. I'm still 90% confident that he's going to be able to win it, but I'm not sleeping on Malik Turner if he can keep up the performance. Then with the Dallas Cowboys defensive line and offensive line improve, because I believe that Dallas offensive line got pushed around by Pittsburgh's defensive line, and if one of their starting offensive linemen go down again this year, oh my goodness, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Same thing with the defensive line. I was kind of disappointed in how the defensive line performed. Their defensive line was pretty good against the run, but I just felt like their defensive line should have did a little bit better considering how much talent and depth they have at defensive line. Defensive line is actually one of the strongest parts of their defense going into this season, in my opinion. Now, things to watch for the Arizona Cardinals. Who's going to be the starting running back? You got Chase Edmonds. He's the favorite right now. But James Conner, been hearing a lot of good things about him. And James Conner is not a bad running back, by the way. The thing with James Conner is that he cannot stay healthy. Like, as a Steelers fan, like, I love James Conner, but he wasn't that fast. He didn't really have that quick shift off the edge, but he was a pretty solid back when healthy. So I don't think the Cardinals could make a mistake going with either James Conner or Chase Edmonds. But as of right now, from what I've heard, Chase Edmonds is the leader, but I want to see how both of these two guys perform in this game. You also can't sleep on Eno Benjamin. Next, who's going to be the 4th wide receiver behind AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, and Christian Kirk? Got Andy Isabella, who they invested a high draft pick in not too long ago. He hasn't really been the player that they thought he could be. Then you bring in rookie wide receiver Rondale Moore out of Purdue. I'm really excited to see him. He is really good when he has the ball in his hands, but he also has injury concerns that some people were kind of concerned about with him. And if it wasn't for those injury concerns, he would have been a lock for the first round. Then you have Keyshawn Johnson, who I like a lot. I think Keyshawn Johnson could be a really good deep threat for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm a big fan of Keyshawn Johnson, so I want to see how he's going to perform in this game. Then who's going to be the second cornerback on the opposite side of Byron Murphy? Now, Byron Murphy is projected to be the number 1 corner on this team. So you have a battle between Malcolm Butler, who you brought in free agency, and Robert Alford. Now, there's a misconception that a lot of people have that they believe that Malcolm Butler is washed up. Malcolm Butler is not washed up. He is a pretty solid corner. Now, he's not a shutdown corner, but you're definitely getting a guy who is pretty solid. So I don't really buy the narrative that Malcolm Butler is washed up. Robert Alford did get a lot of playing time last year for Arizona, so he also is in the mix, but I'm going to lean towards Malcolm Butler, but I want to see how that plays out. You also have some questions when it comes to the offensive line, when it comes to right guard. Interesting to see who's going to be winning that starting job, so keep an eye on that right guard position in this game. There's going to be a lot of guys who are supposed to be rotating at that right guard spot. Now, the players I'm going to be watching for the Arizona Cardinals in this matchup, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on James Conner. I think that he does have a better chance to win that RB1 job than what a lot of people give him credit for. Wide receiver Keyshawn Johnson. Obviously, I'm going to be watching first-round pick Xavier Collins. You got rookie corner Marco Wilson. I want to see how he performs. Marco Wilson was heavily criticized by a lot of Florida fans. A lot of people thought he was terrible. Marco Wilson is not as bad as what a lot of people make him out to be. He's actually pretty solid. I felt like he was drafted where he should have been. Then you got rookie safety James Wiggins. I am a big James Wiggins fan. This guy is super athletic. He has high football IQ. Like, I thought he's one of the best safeties coming out of this past year's 2021 NFL draft. So I want to see how he's going to perform in this game. He's probably not going to end up starting anywhere. He's probably going to be competing for one of those backup spots, either at free safety or strong safety. But it will be nice to see a little bit of James Wiggins in this game. Players I'm going to be watching for the Dallas Cowboys, still keep my eyes on pretty much the same players that I were last week. Cedric Wilson, rookie cornerback Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph is my favorite player on the Dallas Cowboys, a.k.a. Boss Man Fat. You got rookie cornerback Deshaun Wright. A lot of positive things. I want to see how he performs because you have that battle at that cornerback 2 spot that looks like it's coming down to those 2 rookies. Then, lastly, rookie linebacker Michael Parsons, who had a fumble recovery in the Hall of Fame game. So those are the players that I'm going to be watching for both the Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys in their upcoming preseason matchup.